The way you move this your body in a way, banda.
Why is it whenever a dark-skinned woman does something or is confident, people now find it as an opportunity to make a parody video about it? Y'all did the same thing to Serena Williams during the Super Bowl. Uncle.
Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So I want to talk about this whole talking point where it's like, if you think I'm ugly, you're colorist. If you think that my beauty enhancements make me look masculine, you're colorist. So people have been making fun of this model that was in a music video, but notice how the main people making fun of a dark-skinned black woman are dark-skinned black men. So my question is, who raised these colorist dark-skinned black men? It was other dark-skinned black people that raised them. So I've noticed that sometimes people take out their colorism, texturism, or featurism trauma on mixed race or light-skinned people, but also the guy making fun of that woman and saying that she looks ugly or trying to make it like she looks masculine, okay, that is actually a form of transphobia and homophobia, and that's also bullying. That is not colorism. The definition of colorism is when you are disparaging someone based on their actual complexion. So if that guy would have made that video and maybe he put a caption saying that, she looks masculine because she's dark or dark skin looks masculine, okay, then you could say that it's colorism. But I've noticed that a lot of black women and men, they're overusing the word colorism or they're calling everything colorism when the person making fun of them, they didn't say anything about their color.
Uncle, if you wanted to wear wig and skirts, do that in peace. You didn't have to bring all the theatrics into it. Leave Halima Shakubi out of this. You wanted to do that. One thing I noticed was that all the comments in Rema's video were not coming from Nigerians that live here in the States or in the UK or in Canada. It was from Nigerians that live back home. As a country where it's dark skins, light skins, brown skins, why is colorism still so prevalent? Why do Nigerians act like they've never seen a dark-skinned woman before? And the thing that was crazy was that if you click on the profiles of the people in the comments, either one, they were darker than the lead girl. Two, they did not even look half as good as she did. And three, they didn't even have like a profile picture up or no videos on their page, so you're insecure.
Okay, so notice how she's actually invalidating the haters based on their complexion. The first thing she said was, the people talking shit, they were darker than her. Okay, so you're already implying that if somebody is dark-skinned, that they can't talk shit. Only light-skinned people can talk that much shit about a dark-skinned black woman looking ugly. So do you hear the internalized colorism right there?
Even look half as good as she did. And three,
and then she says they don't even look half as good as she did. Okay, so the pictures of her in the music video were a little bit blurred. So I have pulled up some of this woman's modeling photos where she has a similar look to what she did in the music video, which is kind of like that blonde lace front with like her makeup done and everything. So when this woman says that half the people talking shit, they don't look half as good as her. Okay, so what is it that makes her look good that makes the colorist black people also look ugly at the same time? Because last time I checked, Nigerians and unambiguous black people all have similar features. So this is how they end up invalidating their own talking points, because they'll be like, oh, you're talking about me. I'm a beautiful black woman. You're ugly. You don't even look half as good as me. And it's like, okay, well, what's ugly about the unambiguous black people in these comment sections? Name their ugly features.
They didn't even have like a profile picture up or no videos on their page, so you're insecure.
I had to stop it right here because I also found it interesting that she said, you don't have a profile picture, so you're insecure. Why is it that people have to show their pictures to black women in order to prove that they're confident? So do you see how she's actually exposing the fact that she thinks confidence comes from looking good? So she's implying that, if you don't show yourself, you must be ugly, and therefore, because you're ugly, you're insecure. Do you hear the projection there? She's actually exposing the fact that she thinks self-esteem comes from looking pretty. And then she's also implying that only pretty people can talk shit about this black model in the music video. So once again, she invalidates people based on if they're ugly. So the first comeback she did was invalidating them based on being darker, because she said, oh, well, you're darker than the girl in Rima's music video, so you can't talk shit. And now she's saying you're uglier than the girl in Rima's music video, so you can't talk shit. So she's essentially saying you're too dark and ugly, to be talking shit about anybody else. You hear the internalized anti-blackness right there?
I just don't understand why we can be so comfortable with tearing down our own people. Even I've noticed whenever some people comment hate on my videos, it's never people that live here. It's always Nigerians back home. Why are we so comfortable with typing up something so rude about someone that you've never met in your life and then pressing send and posting it to a public platform? We have to stop acting brand new as if we've never seen a dark-skinned person before, because that's not normal. Do we not have shame? And that girl is so beautiful. I'm actually genuinely so confused. And y'all do the parodies in such a disgusting, inhumane way. Like, I'm tired of it. I've never seen.
So I find it interesting how she's like, "Oh, that girl is so beautiful. You guys are disgusting and inhumane." Okay, isn't Nigeria one of the top countries that is known for things like bleaching? Isn't Nigeria one of the top countries that is known for women ripping out their hair so they can wear lace fronts? So they're talking out of the side of their neck because they're saying on the one hand, "Oh, this woman is so beautiful," but on the other hand, you've got tens of thousands of unambiguous black women that don't support models and singers that look like her. Look at Normani. Normani has a similar phenotype to that woman, but Normani flopped because her fellow unambiguous black women didn't even support her. So it's not just the men who are making fun of the women. It's both. It's both counterparts. It's unambiguous black men and women. And another thing too is that I thought unambiguous black women were divesting. So why are they even worried about what these quote unquote colorist dusty black men have to say? How are these black men even popping up on their algorithm? So do you see how they go searching for disparaging things about themselves? They go searching for colorism. They go searching for texturism. They go searching for transphobia and homophobia and men making fun of them. That's what they're searching for in their algorithms. And it's like they will say that men are irrelevant or that black men are irrelevant, but deep down inside, they care deeply about what black men think. So that's why they're allowing these black men to destroy their self esteem. And that's also why they get upset if they see an exotical woman who benefits from an ism dating black men.
Y'all do that to a light-skinned woman or a white woman. People were saying she was.
And then they're saying, "I haven't seen you do that to a light skinned or a white woman." That is actually false. People make fun of light skinned women all the time. I've seen people making fun of Tiny, T.I.'s wife. I've seen people making fun of women of all races. So do you see how they also have this mindset of like, they just have it the worst? You know, black women just have it the worst. Everybody's just against them. Everybody's making fun of them more than they make fun of other women. So do you see how they perceive other groups of women as being higher up on a pedestal than them? She's saying, "Oh, you don't mock any other types of women."
Was trans, asking Rema, why did you choose this girl? What? Why is it so normalized to be rude? Where did this come? Like, can someone actually give me historical context or something about why Nigerians can just be so rude? You'll see like other cultural groups, like, you know, they're hyping up the person. "Oh, yes, girl, get it. Oh, you look so beautiful." But Nigerians, oh my, just open a Nigerian comment section. It's the rudest thing you'll ever see. I don't like the way y'all talk about dark-skinned women.
Okay, so notice how she actually did not give any examples of colorism. All that was happening was a dark-skinned black woman was simply being bullied. She was being cyberbullied. And yes, the person was being transphobic, homophobic, etc. But that's not colorism. Those are different types of isms. And she's just calling it colorism because the woman who is being made fun of happens to be a dark-skinned black woman. So I've noticed that culturally, I see this overarching fear of rejection. Any woman who is on a public platform is going to get made fun of. She could be black, she could be white, dark-skinned, light-skinned, doesn't matter. Everybody who goes into the industry is going to get scrutinized and criticized. So why is it that it's okay to bully and scrutinize everybody else? Do you know how many people said Rihanna had a big forehead and, you know, she looks like an alien and all this other crap? But suddenly, when people are making fun of someone who happens to be dark skinned, they just instantly throw out the word colorism. And they throw out that word because they don't believe they will get attention unless they call things colorist. So let's take a look at some of these comments here. This person says, "And it's the men, ugly men too." Okay, so the men who are talking shit are black, unambiguous men. So you're calling your own counterparts ugly. You're saying that the men who look like your fathers, you know, who have your same facial features are ugly. You're calling black features and dark skin and 4C hair ugly. Somebody says, "It's about featurism and body shaming." Another person says, yeah, I think it was featurism, not colorism. Because let's be honest, if it was Coco Jones, Normani, Kelly Rowland type of dark girl, this wouldn't have even happened. Okay, so if you think it's featurism, stop calling it colorism when it's not. And then somebody says, like, seriously, if he wanted to wear a wig, he could have just done that. Well, I've noticed that a lot of black people throughout history, they enjoy watching content of black men wearing wigs, making fun of black women. They popularized Tyler Perry. They popularized the guys from White Chicks. They popularized so many black male comedians who make fun of unambiguous black women. So they didn't have a problem with this back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So it's, once again, it's actually a bad social climbing tactic. They were so male centered back then. A lot of black women were so male centered and black male worshiping that they didn't mind that their counterparts were making fun of them as the butt of the joke. And now, 30 years later, suddenly they're realizing, oh, wait, we have been the standard of quote unquote ugly, or, people are making fun of us. And again, my thing is, if you can't handle being made fun of, do not go in the public eye and don't get on the internet. This person says, I think it's also because she's really slim, so people are comparing that against more accepted beauty standards. She has a model body and a gorgeous face. End of.
Okay, so again, my question for the black women who commented that is that why do you care about black men's body standards? Like having this big giant ass, or like, even if you're saying that that is kind of the mainstream body standard, being thick or being, a little bit more chunky. If you truly were confident in your skinny body, then why would you get mad at people not finding it attractive? There's no such thing as someone where everybody in the world is attracted to them. And this is a part of the femcel mindset. They feel like if you're not liked by every single person on this earth, then it must mean that you're somehow lower on a hierarchy. And that's just not true. So it's a scarcity mindset. They think that beauty is a monolith. And so they think that when it comes to bodies, that, only one type of body is beautiful, and it's the thick body, and that slim bodies can't be beautiful. The thicker body types, generally speaking, that does tend to be more of a black body standard. I don't follow black body standards. That's not really my thing. I didn't grow up kind of internalizing just these black body standards for women. So everybody doesn't have that. So you actually can hear kind of the male-centeredness in that comment right there. Like, oh, well, people are making fun of her because her body. So basically because she doesn't have a big ass and like big boobs, then, that's why people are making fun of her. When that's not even the case. The guy who made the comedy video, he said nothing about her body. He said nothing about her skin complexion. He said nothing about her being ugly. All he did was make a TikTok video of himself dancing. And then he put the caption up in the video of him dancing in a wig. That's it.
This girl says the world's accepted beauty standards can be so damaging. It's so sad. So do you see their internalized obsession with what they perceive as the world's beauty standards? Rima, the artist, he is not a representation of the entire world. Do you see how they expect other black people to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders? Okay, so it is now this Nigerian artist's responsibility to talk about the world's beauty standards, or, to change the world's beauty standards. Why did they put huge expectations on themselves and on their male counterparts, or on white Hollywood, to change their beauty standards? So do you see how this all goes back to their deep-seated fear of rejection? They have a fear of being called ugly. They're afraid of being called ugly. Any woman who doesn't believe she's ugly is not scared of being called ugly. Like, if I know that I'm beautiful, somebody calling me ugly, that's not going to destroy my self-esteem, because deep down inside, I don't believe I'm ugly. So their insult can't latch onto me because I don't believe them. But I've noticed this pattern where they actually have a deep-seated fear of being called ugly. And I think it's because deep down inside, a lot of them truly do think they are ugly. And that's why they call their black male counterparts ugly. Their black male counterparts have the same features. When I'm looking at this woman, she has very similar facial features to Gabrielle Union's husband. I can't remember his name right now. But she has very similar features to him. And he is an unambiguous black man. Actually, I believe he's African as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I find it interesting that right up here at the top, they're saying it's the men, ugly men too. And it's like, okay, what do most black men look like? They look like this woman on the screen. This person says, I feel like Rima should say something in support of her. So do you see how they can bash black men? And by the way, I'm not defending black men. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy here. So they can bash black men, but then you've got a person saying, oh, Rima should say something in support of her. So you want to bash your counterparts. You call your counterparts ugly. You raise these black men to be colorists because these black men have black mothers, and you guys said yourselves that the black fathers aren't in the home. Okay, so who raised all these black men to be colorists? Black women. And then after raising them to be colorists, calling them ugly, and getting mad at them for creating comedy skits that you guys laughed at and you guys supported throughout the previous decades, now you've got somebody saying, oh, well, these black men should be supporting her. They should be standing up for her. So do you see how a lot of them have this external locus of control? I need a black man to come and save me and support me and stand up for me. Kind of like with the Francesca Rivers situation. They expected Tom, the co-star, they expected this white male co-star of hers to like stand up for her and support her. So do you see this pattern of them kind of begging others to support them, begging other people to find them beautiful, begging Hollywood to change the beauty standard to them? They don't like seeing other women being praised as a beauty standard. No, they want it to be just themselves. But instead of looking within their own cultures or within their own racial groups, they don't want to do that. They want to divide themselves from their own men. They divide themselves from light-skinned women. You know, they divide themselves from mixed-race women, or they try to hide behind us. They hide behind us, exoticals. And then they get mad later on when they end up feeling invisible. This person says it's not because she's dark-skinned. It's because she is skinny. The fuck? We Nigerians love the dark skin. The dark skin thing is on you. Yeah, I do agree that she is conflating transphobia and homophobia and misogyny. She's conflating all of those things with colorism. It's like literally anytime you disagree with someone dark skinned, you're colorist. Anytime you don't think a dark skinned woman is attractive, you're colorist. So she's using the wrong word. She's using whatever word is the most triggering to fellow dark skinned black women. And I've noticed that they do this to themselves. You know, a lot of dark skinned black women on social media will actually go out of their way to make money by convincing other dark skinned black women that, hey, the world hates you. Black men hate you. White men hate you. Everybody's colorist. Everybody's texturist and featurist. This supermodel who looks like you, people think she's ugly. So let's talk about it, dark skinned women. So I've noticed even dark skinned women themselves will actually exploit the insecurities of their fellow dark skinned black women by creating content like this and calling things colorism that are literally not colorism by definition. There was not one time she didn't pull up not one screenshot of somebody saying she's ugly because of her dark skin. She didn't pull up not one screenshot of that comedian saying that her dark skin makes her look trans. No, there were no screenshots. All she showed was a comedy clip of a man in a wig, which we see all the time. As a matter of fact, we've seen white men in wigs before, like Mrs. Doubtfire, etc. So it's like you're literally assuming that a black man wearing a wig means he's making fun of dark-skinned black women. No, that means you actually believe that dark-skinned black women are inherently masculine. That's part of why you're offended. Okay, so just admit that you have an internalized bias where you don't view dark skin as feminine. That's your internalized problem. So do you see how there's this pattern where a lot of them make everything about color when there are no actual examples of colorism? There was nowhere in that skit where he said anything about skin tone. And then this person says they claim it's not that deep and just cruise. They will never apologize too. It shows the lack of quality and character. Sis, I understand. So who's they? Are they talking about black men? So they're expecting black men to, I guess, apologize to them. So once again, do you see the entitlement here? Nobody actually owes you anything in this world. Nobody owes you anything. They don't owe you money. They don't owe you being their beauty standard. They don't owe you apologies. They don't owe you a date. They don't owe you sex. They don't owe you fame. So this woman here, you can see the external locus of control just coming out in her comment. Like, oh, they'll never apologize. It shows the lack of quality and character. Okay, so who raised all of these dusty black men with this bad character? I would love to know, because according to your own talking points as a collective, unambiguous women, it's not their fathers that raised them to have such a lack of character. So who raised them like this? Shouldn't you be talking to Generation X black women or boomer black women? This person says y'all confuse colorism with featurism. I do think they confuse colorism with featurism. But I also feel like in that comedy video, it was literally just a guy dressed up as a girl. He seemed to be making fun of the lace front from what I gathered. So it's like, okay, he's a comedian making fun of a lace front, or he's trying to look trans or something, or he's trying to say she looks trans or that trans women are ugly. Okay. So, but that has nothing. He didn't say her features make her look trans. Her skin tone makes her look trans. If anything, I would have assumed that he was talking shit about her wig and her lace front. That's what I got from the video. And then this person says, do you think they would be coming for her features if she wasn't dark skinned? Okay, my first question is, what does it mean when you say coming for her features? You mean calling her ugly or saying she's not attractive? That's not what the guy said in the comedy video, but let's say people are saying that this model is ugly. Okay, so is it featurism if you think someone's ugly? Because if it is, then that would mean that you're a futurist against Tiny. Any light-skinned woman that you find ugly, okay, then I could call you a futurist too. Any white woman that you find ugly, I could still call you a futurist too then. So it's like, why is it only featurism if you're not attracted to a dark-skinned black woman? But if you're not attracted to somebody of any other ethnic group, then you're not featurist. I've heard so many people saying that light-skinned women age like spoiled milk, or, that's the white genes kicking in. They've talked so much shit about mixed race women aging badly. So is that a form of featurism, or does this only apply to dark-skinned black women? But this girl says, yes, women of all shades get dragged for having overly big noses, cheekbone sizes, lips, bad hair, etc. Okay, so she's talking about people getting dragged for having large features. So I actually think that people can get dragged for any type of feature. Like I've seen women get dragged for having small lips, like having thin lips. I've seen women get dragged for that. So it's not like people can only get dragged if they have a big nose and big lips. No, people get dragged for having small lips, like Kylie Jenner. She got dragged into oblivion, and she's white. She got dragged for her features her entire life. So do you see how there's also this mindset? It's a very monocultural mindset. They're seeing everything through the lenses of dark-skinned black women only. They're centered around the dark-skinned black woman's traumas in regards to her own facial features. Have you ever stopped and thought about the fact that maybe there are some black women out there who do not have trauma in regards to their black facial features? So it's like, why are you equating black features to featurism trauma automatically? Like, oh, every woman that's black and has broad features, she's going to be insecure about it. That's false. There are dark-skinned black women who are actually confident. So why are you not acknowledging those women? Why are you defining the black experience based on traumas and isms? And then this person says, which is funny because people praise women of different shades for having the same features they shame us for. So it's kind of hard to believe. So do you see the comparison there? She's comparing dark-skinned black women's experiences to light-skinned black women. She's saying that light-skinned women get praised for having the same facial features as this model in the photo. Light-skinned women with broad features get praised. Dark-skinned black women don't. Okay, so that tells me that you're only calling it an ism because your specific features are not being praised. You guys are exposing yourselves with every single comment. And then this person says, not true. They come for features regardless of skin tone. Thank you. Just like they did the WNBA player, Chennedy Carter. They made fun of features, but yet she was light-skinned. It's not always the skin tone. So out of curiosity, I'm going to look up this WNBA player to see what her actual skin tone is, because they're saying she's light-skinned. So let's look it up. Okay, so I see the woman that they're talking about. I will pull up some pictures of her, and she does appear to have broad features. I don't know if part of her face is paralyzed or deformed or something, but like her smile does look very asymmetrical. I don't know if she has special needs or what. But it's interesting how when they think that us light-skinned women are not watching, they have no problem calling people light-skinned. But if you're a woman in real life with this same skin tone, a lot of women will try to gaslight you and say, oh, you're not even light, you're light brown. Remember how I had people on my channel saying that Doja Cat is not light-skinned? Okay, well, this woman is a similar type of complexion. And they're calling her light-skinned. So I just wanted to point out the light-skinned goalpost moving. And this person says, yeah, dark-skinned women are the butt of the jokes online. Okay, being the butt of an online joke is not colorism. Colorism is when you are discriminating against someone based on their complexion. So if the person's joke has nothing to do with your skin tone, if they don't say dark skin is ugly or, dark-skinned black women have bad attitudes or whatever, if they're not saying that, if they're just making a joke about someone who happens to be dark-skinned, that is by definition not colorism. And then you got someone else saying, not true, light skins and others get dragged too. Like, I know you see people bashing Glorilla's broad features. Exactly. People bash people's facial features all the time. Whether they have keen features, broad features, that's just a part of being on the internet and being a celebrity. This person says, and who do they normally associate Glorilla's broad features to? Okay. And this person says to unambiguous black women. Exactly. But who's making fun of Glorilla's features? What racial group of people are the main ones who made fun of her features? It's unambiguous black people themselves, men and women. So coming in the comment section and saying that, oh, well, they're equating ugliness to unambiguous blackness. Okay, so then tell that to the unambiguous black people who make fun of light-skinned women with the broad features then. Tell that to them. Because when they make fun of broad features, you know, the main group that is known for the broad features, you just said it yourself, it's unambiguous black women. So they're only harming their own communities by making fun of women like Glorilla anyway. But this person says her features are seen as masculine because she is a dark skin. Okay, so first of all, I find it interesting that she calls her a dark skin. So that's her identity. She is a dark skin. She didn't say she's dark skinned. No, she says she is a dark skin. So that's her whole identity, is her dark skin tone. Meanwhile, they tell light skinned women, oh, you're making it your whole personality. You're making it your whole identity. So I just wanted to break that piece of it down. But then she says her features are seen as masculine. Okay, when did the man in the comedy video say that her facial features are masculine? And also, who said that this woman's features are masculine? Like, pull up the screenshots, pull up the clips. I want to hear the audios of people saying that this specific woman's facial features, her African facial features, are masculine. Because the last time I checked, the main people who say that black features are masculine are black people themselves. It's not white people. It's not light-skinned, mixed people, biracial people. No, it's usually unambiguous black women and men who are the only ones saying that. And they're the main ones perpetuating that. And this person is saying, what about Glorilla and Chenedy Charter? That is why their features are seen as masculine then? Someone says both of these women have been misgendered. And why is that? Because colorism and featurism go hand in hand. You can deny it all you want, but anyone who is dark-skinned knows what we are on about. No, light-skinned people can experience featurism and texturism as well. And that's what a lot of dark-skinned black women don't want to acknowledge. A lot of dark-skinned black people will perpetuate featurism and texturism against light-skinned people. They do this to us in the exotical space all the time. They'll say things like, oh, well, you're just trying to look like Mariah Carey. You know, they try to use somebody who has more whiteness in their phenotype, or they're more adjacent to whiteness. They'll try to use that as a humbling tactic. So no, that's featurist and texturist. It does not always go hand in hand with colorism only, because people of, you know, non-dark skin tones can still experience those two things. This person says all the isms go hand in hand, but y'all trying to say they only coming for her features because she is dark-skinned, when that is not the case here. Somebody says that is the case. Give it up. You wouldn't know colorism if it was right in front of you. They're actively mocking and bullying this dark-skinned woman, something that they would never do to a light-skin. Okay, so mocking and bullying is not colorism. That's why they are two separate words. Mocking and bullying. That's different than colorism. Colorism is when you are specifically discriminating against someone based on their skin complexion. So notice how she just exposed herself right there. Like, she just exposed the fact that it's not colorism. It's literally just straight up mocking and bullying. Okay, you guys tell us light-skinned women all the time, oh, well, that's not colorism. That's bullying. That's different. Okay, so I'm giving you the same energy right here. This person says, anyone with common sense will know that dark skin itself is deemed masculine by society. This dark-skinned woman is being bullied for her features that are only considered masculine because she is dark. Not because her features are inherently masculine, but because the simple fact that she has a darker skin tone makes it seem that way. Featurism wouldn't exist without colorism. Okay, so just because something wouldn't exist without something else, it doesn't mean that there is no nuance to that thing. So even if featurism did stem from colorism, which is really debatable, but even if it did stem from that, that doesn't mean that light-skinned people can't experience it. And also saying that dark skin is deemed masculine by society. I love how they use all these euphemisms. It's like, just say white people. Just say white people. Just admit that you live your life based on white people's perception of you. Because they'll say things like, oh, well, you know, dark skin is masculine we're viewed as masculine by society. Okay, who is society? Do you mean everybody in the world? Because that's false. Everybody in the world does not view dark skin as masculine. Only racist white people or, internalized featurists would view dark skin as masculine. So stop saying society. Don't blame it on all of society, because it's not all of society that views dark skinned women as masculine. No, dark skin is deemed masculine by colorists. Call that what it is. So do you see how, once again, they don't know when to use the word colorist and when not to? Okay, only colorist people think that dark skin is masculine. So bring smoke to the colorists. Don't say that, oh, it's all of society, everybody in the world, all 8 billion people in this entire world, society as a whole, just views dark skin as masculine. No. Do you see how she's actually coming back with that dark skin is at the bottom talking point? The whole entire world, all of society views dark skin as being masculine. And that's why this random TikTok guy made this video, because everybody in the world thinks that dark skin is masculine. So this person says, show me a video of a light-skinned person being treated the same. Go ahead and tag me. I'll wait. This girl says, did I say they get treated the same? No. I'm saying when it comes to featurism, other shades get that too. Exactly. Two things can be true at the same time. You can benefit from colorism, and then you can have people try to project featurism onto you. Two things can be true at the same time. You can have light skin privilege on one hand, and you could also experience featurism on the other hand. This person says, I personally just didn't like the wig color, but she is very beautiful. She's a whole model. I agree. I did not like the orange, copper, rust-colored wig either. That's not my favorite color, but, that's just my personal opinion. I just don't like wigs that have that particular color. So I'm sure there are other people out there that don't like that fashion look. Everybody's not going to like all of your fashion and beauty looks just because you're dark skinned, okay? I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I'm sorry to break it to you. Everybody on this earth is not going to like every lace front you put on. People don't like all of Beyonce's lace fronts. They don't like all of Rihanna's lace fronts. And they're not going to like all of this model's lace fronts. And plus, if you guys are the blueprint and you're so confident and whatever, and your hair is the best hair texture ever, first of all, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how a lot of Black women hate seeing shrunken 4C hair. They don't like it. They don't want to see it. And so a lot of unambiguous Black models actually feel the pressure from fellow Black women to put on the lace fronts or to stretch out their hair or straighten it or whatever. And now you've got a dark-skinned woman calling her out. She says, aren't you dark-skinned? You are pretty. Let's not make it about colorism. Somebody says, what are you on about? I'm on about facts. You people make everything about color. And then she says, you people make everything about colorism. Some people aren't just pretty regardless of their skin color. Yeah, what happened to that talking point? Oh, well, skin tone don't make you cute. Some people are pretty, some people aren't. Oh, okay, so are you admitting that you think that some dark-skinned Black women are not pretty? Which one is it? Do you see how they constantly move the goalpost? 1 minute it's, oh, everybody's not pretty. Everybody can't be pretty. Then the next minute it's, if you don't think I'm pretty, you're featurist. This person says, featurism does not equal colorism. This person says those two are synonymous to one another. That is false. Featurism and colorism are not synonyms. Anybody who knows basic English knows that. As a matter of fact, let me pull up a thesaurus right now. Okay, so I am on a thesaurus website. Not once do I see featurism listed as a synonym for colorism. Therefore, featurism is not synonymous with colorism according to the dictionary. Okay, I see words like shadeism, racism, discrimination, prejudice, bigotry, hatred of brown skin. This is what I'm seeing on here. Intolerance, fear of the Black color, anti-Semitism, apartheid, color theory, differentiation. Okay, so they've got all these other words on here, but I don't see featurism. So therefore, that TikTok comment is incorrect. Colorism is not synonymous with featurism. This person says, I delete men that mimic Black women for content. Exactly. Why don't you just stop watching these comedians? I didn't grow up watching Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle and all those other comedians. I didn't grow up watching them. So why is it that I, especially with people who are claiming that all of us exoticals are just unambiguous Black women, okay, so then why is it that I didn't grow up watching these Black male comedians who dressed up as women? Other than like Tyler Perry. So just because somebody's doing comedy of dark-skinned Black women, it doesn't mean you have to consume that content. So do you see how there's kind of this addiction to pain? There's this They fall for rage bait so easily. That guy wanted people to be enraged. You know, he wanted people to react to his content because that's how you go viral and get paid. And you're falling for it hook, line, and sinker. This person says colonization. Okay, so now it's colonization. If you don't think a dark-skinned black woman is pretty, if you don't like her lace front, that is now colonization at this point. Do you see how they literally are just throwing out random words? They're trying to use the most inflammatory word possible because they're mad that a black woman got made fun of. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.